Eala destroys Viktorija Golubic. Fans can't believe this match. 1 point away from the semifinals. She had it all. Victory was minutes away. But then something shattered. 11 straight points lost. A tiebreak blanked 7-0. And in one devastating moment, a dream that seemed impossible to stop was ripped away. 20 years old. The next generation of tennis royalty. That's who Eala was walking into Suzhou, China, in October 2024. This wasn't just another tournament on the calendar. This was a watershed moment for the Philippines' brightest tennis talent. After breaking through at the US Open, becoming the first Filipino ever to reach the main draw of a Grand Slam quarterfinal, Eala carried something with her to Asia that most teenagers could only dream of: genuine belief. The Suzhou Open wasn't supposed to be her tournament. Not really. But as she stepped onto the court, something clicked. 4th seed, 20-year-old legs, and the kind of hunger that only comes when you've tasted success for the first time. Eala had been grinding through a grueling Asian swing, and her results spoke volumes. She wasn't just competing. She was advancing, winning, proving that the US Open wasn't a fluke. It was the beginning of something real. But getting to this semi-final match against Viktorija Golubic, that required something extraordinary, something almost superhuman. In the 2 matches before facing Golubic, Eala played for over 8 hours. 8 hours of tennis. 8 hours of crushing baseline rallies, saves on break points, and matches that went deep into third sets. Her first match ran nearly 3 hours. Her second match? Nearly 3.5 hours of pure attrition tennis. Most players would be broken by that. Most would be mentally shattered, physically drained, looking for excuses. Not Eala. She kept winning. When she walked onto the court against Golubic, she carried that momentum like armor. You could see it in her posture, the way she moved, the pace she was putting on the ball. At 20 years old, she was moving like a champion, walking like someone who believed she belonged in a semifinal, walking like someone who could beat anyone on any day. The narrative was already written in everyone's minds: rising star, relentless energy, youth against experience. But nobody, absolutely nobody, was prepared for what was about to unfold. The crowd at Sujo could feel it too. There's an electricity that surrounds young players who are on the cusp of something greater. Fans were drawn to Eala not just because of her skill, but because of what she represented. A breakthrough. A new force. The kind of player who makes you lean forward in your seat because you know something historic might happen. One match stood between her and the finals. One match. And she was playing like she was destined to be there. The first set told a story of dominance. Eala absolutely demolished the first set 6-2. It wasn't competitive. It wasn't close. She broke Golubic's serve multiple times, imposed her rhythm from the baseline, and looked untouchable. The crowd was on her side. The momentum was clearly hers. Every point felt like it was going Eala's way. She was hitting through her opponents, making the ball jump off the court, dictating from the baseline with the kind of precision that only young athletes with explosive power can generate. Viktorija Golubic, standing across the net, was 32 years old, ranked 70th in the world. This wasn't her tournament to win. Her best days, statistically speaking, were behind her. She'd had a decent run at Wimbledon a few years back, reached the quarterfinals, but that was the high-water mark of her career. She was supposed to be a stepping stone, a first-round exit story that Eala would walk past on her way to bigger things. The math didn't add up in Golubic's favor. Youth, momentum, form, everything was pointing toward one direction. But Golubic had something else. Something that can't be measured in rankings or match records. She had experience. She had seen the situations Eala was about to face. She'd been in finals. She'd been in tiebreaks. She'd felt the pressure of match points. And most importantly, she understood something fundamental about tennis that young players often don't. You don't have to stay down. The second set was where Golubic woke up. It was like watching a completely different player take the court. She started serving better, finding her range, mixing up her pace. More importantly, she started playing with the kind of tactical awareness that comes only from thousands of professional matches. She wasn't trying to outpower Eala anymore. She understood that was a losing battle against someone with that much youthful energy and court speed. Golubic raced to a 4-0 lead in the second set. 4 games. Nothing from Eala. Just like that, the momentum had flipped. The crowd that was cheering every Eala winner started sensing something different. This wasn't the coronation they'd expected. This was a match now. A real match. Golubic closed it out 6-2, evening the set count and sending a message. I'm not going anywhere. What happened in that second set wasn't just Golubic playing better tennis. It was the invisible part of the game, the mental shift. Eala's confidence, which had been so visible in the first set, suddenly came with a question mark. Golubic's confidence, which had seemed fragile and desperate at 0-6, came roaring back with purpose. The 20-year-old was learning a lesson that many young players learn too late. Nobody is as broken as they seem when they're down in the first set. Experience teaches patience, and patience was about to become Eala's biggest problem. She was winning. She was in control. And then, in just one set, everything shifted, and Eala still didn't know she was in danger. In the post-match interview, Eala was composed. Shaken, maybe. Visibly drained, absolutely. But composed. When asked about the collapse, about losing from match point, about the 7-0 tiebreak, she simply said, "Some crazy matches this week, back to the drawing board." Those words carried weight. Not anger. Not bitterness. Just the exhausted clarity of someone who understood what had happened. She'd played too much tennis. 8 hours over 2 days. Her tank was empty by the time the tiebreak started. Some people called it an excuse, but really it was just the truth. Your body has limits. Your mind has limits, even when you're 20 years old and you believe you can beat anyone. The story of this match will be told and retold. Fans will debate it. They'll replay it. They'll talk about the moments that changed everything. But underneath all the drama, all the statistics, all the analysis, there's a more important truth. In that match, we saw 2 different stages of a tennis career collide. We saw what youth and power and belief look like. We also saw what experience and resilience and mental toughness look like. We saw the future, and we saw the present. And for one afternoon at Sujo, the present won. But here's what's really important. The future always catches up. If you want to keep following Eala's journey, if you want to see whether this loss becomes the foundation for greatness, you need to subscribe to this channel.